What's up, folks? I'm Dwayne,
I'm Alicia.
and this is Blackboard Gaming, where we teach you about all these great board games that are out there.
Waiting to be played by you and yours. I'm a simple man, don't want a complication.
Hey, everybody!
Today, we're going to give you a heads up about a game coming to Kickstarter soon. It's called Wasabi, a game of raw skill.
Wasabi is designed by Josh Cappel and Adam Gertzbein and published by Kids Table Board Gaming.
Let's go to the table for an overview of how this game is played.
Wasabi is a tile placement game for 2 to 4 players where the players take on the roles of master chefs trying to serve the best sushi. To set up the game, we would first place the game board in the middle of the table. Now, if this was a 2-player game, then these 5 brightly colored columns will be considered the play area. If this was a 3-player game, we would include this column here, and if we were doing 4 players, we would include this column here. Next, we're going to take the 68 ingredient tiles, and after separating them by type, we're going to arrange them next to the game board based on the color of that tile, and this is going to be known as the pantry. Next, we're going to shuffle this deck of action cards and place that deck face down to the right of the game board, and then we're going to reveal 3 action cards face up. Next, we're going to create 4 decks of recipe cards that have been separated by the length of the recipe. And after giving each of those decks a good shuffle, we're going to place it at the top of the game board in reach of all players. Then we're going to take the wasabi pool and we're going to place it off to the side. And then we're going to create a supply of these wasabi cubes. There's the big ones are 5s and these are just 1s. And we're going to place that near all the players. Then we're going to take one of these 1 wasabi cubes and we're going to place it over there in the wasabi pool. Next, we're going to take 1 teacup per player, returning any leftovers to the box, and each player is going to place a teacup anywhere on the board as long as it's in their play area. So if this was a 3-player setup, the board might look like this. Each player will get one of these wasabi dishes, and then they're going to draw 3 recipe cards. 1 with a length of 2 ingredients, 1 with a length of 3 ingredients, and 1 with a length of 4 ingredients. And they're going to have those in their hand, keeping those recipes secret from all the other players. And then, if you want, you can take one of these reference cards. And then after that, we randomly choose a first player, maybe say the last player to eat some sushi, and then we can start the game. So the players are going to take turns going clockwise, and they're going to continue to do that until this play area is totally filled up with either ingredient tiles or these teacups. And then each player is going to take 1 final turn, and then the game will end, and the players are going to count up any victory points that they gained from their recipe cards and any wasabi cubes that they were able to collect throughout the game. So on a player's turn, they're going to do 2 things. The first thing they're going to do is they have to place an ingredient tile out onto the game board. So let's say I want to try to make this crunchy tuna roll. So I decided to go over here, grab this tuna, and place it out on the game board. Now, placing this out on the game board, I can place it anywhere that there's an open space. It doesn't have to be adjacent to a previously placed tile. Now, you see where these teacups are. If I wanted to place this in this space here, I would simply move this teacup over and then place this down like that. Because the purpose of the teacups It pretty much is like when it gets close to the end of the game, let's say you're the last player to place a tile and there's only one space left. There's really 4 potential spaces left open in a 3-player game. So let's say I decide I'm just going to place this tuna right here. After that player has placed an ingredient tile out onto the game board, that player can either serve or prep. To serve means you're going to complete a recipe card that you have in your hand. Now, when completing a recipe card, you have to have contributed to completing that recipe on the same turn that you place the tile. So you can't complete a recipe for ingredients that have already been out on the game board. So let's say I'm trying to do these crunchy tuna rolls. I have maki right here. I have tuna. So all I need is tempura. So on my turn, on that player's turn, they decided they're going to grab tempura from the pantry and they're going to place it out onto the game board. Now, when serving, the ingredients have to be in a straight line. They can be either horizontal or vertical, and there cannot be any gaps between the ingredients. Also, they can include any ingredient tile that another player has placed. So the player that's serving, he placed his tuna, but another player placed his maki. So now that this player has placed this tempura, he complete these crunchy tuna roll, And now he will score 4 points at the end of the game. Thing is, he also completed it with style, which means he has the ingredients in the same sequence as it is on the recipe card. So not only does he score 4 points at the end of the game, he also is going to get 2 wasabi cubes. And these wasabi cubes are worth points at the end of the game. So they're worth 1 point each. Another thing about serving is that you can serve multiple recipes. So let's say, for example, let's say this wasn't out here yet. Let's say this was here. Let's say this snapper was right here. And this salmon was right here. So let's say that player decides they're going to place this tuna here. So now not only have they satisfied the rainbow roll, but they also satisfied the crunchy tuna roll. Now they served the crunchy tuna roll with style, but the rainbow roll isn't in the exact sequence. So that's just going to score them 7 points. They won't get those wasabi cubes. After completing a recipe, I will draw back up to my hand of 3 recipe cards. And I can draw that recipe card from either one of these decks. But depending on the deck that I draw a card from, something will go off. So like if you see here, if I draw a 3 ingredient recipe card, then I will be able to take a wasabi cube from the supply and put it in my wasabi dish, and then place a wasabi cube from the supply over in the wasabi pool. 4, you would just place a wasabi cube over in the wasabi pool. Then if I draw a 5, that's a 5 ingredient. Of course, those are the worth most points. But I will also place 2 wasabi cubes over in the wasabi pool. So, like I said, after placing a tile, the player can either serve or prep. So let's say that player decided that they're going to prep. Now there's one of 3 things you can do as part of prep. You can only choose one. The first one you can do is you can draw one of these face-up action cards and place it in your play area. And you can only hold at max 2 of these. And this will give you a special ability that you can activate on future turns. So let's say chop, you can return the top tile in a space to the pantry. Now that will mean just taking a tile. I can take this maki and just return it to the pantry. Now there's a card in there called stack that will allow you to place ingredient tiles on top of other ingredients tiles. Then there's switch. You would choose 2 adjacent spaces and swap their contents, And then spicy. I like spicy. Spin 1 wasabi cube to the supply and then place a tile. So that will allow you to place 2 tiles on your turn. The second thing I can do as part of prep is I can discard any number of recipe cards from my hand and then draw back up to 3. So let's say I didn't want to try to do this Maguro. I could return that to the bottom of its respective deck, and then I could draw a card from either one of these other decks if I wanted to. But I would ignore the ability that goes off on the back of the card. The third thing they can do as part of prep, they could choose to take all these wasabi cubes out of the wasabi pool and place it into their wasabi dish. And remember, these are worth 1 point at the end of the game. And then we would place another wasabi cube from the supply back onto the wasabi pool. So like I said, play will continue until the whole play area has been filled up. And then after everybody has taken their final turn, they will count up their points from their recipe cards and their wasabi cubes. And whoever has the most points will be the winner of Wasabi. So there's 2 things that I want to point out. One, this is a prototype of the game.
Which means the final product might be a little different.
Now, the other thing I want to point out is I love sushi.
He does.
I love me some sushi. Like, we have a Japanese supermarket, Noble Fish, that is in Clawson, Michigan. And whenever I'm out that way, I always stop to get some sushi because I love their selection. It's so fresh. They have a sushi bar in there. It's just really, really cool. And I say that because when I first started exploring this modern board games, this theme really caught my eye because this is the second board game that I ever purchased.
Wow. No, yeah. I didn't know that.
And I still have it. This is the original copy. And I don't think it's hard to find. And so when I found out that Kids Table Board Gaming was doing a re-implementation, a re-edition of this, I was excited because I thought this was a really great game where you're just placing tiles, making sushi. Who doesn't like making sushi?
I don't know. I do really love the presentation of this game. The art on the cards, they look like photographs. They're so they're so eye-catching, colorful, and delicious looking.
Yeah, it is delicious looking. It made me want to go get some sushi.
Yes, and I even like the way they differentiate the I don't know,
the different fish. You could tell
because they have different colored bamboo, but the art is really amazing. It really pops, and the presentation is just great.
Yeah, I really, really like this game.
And it is, and I say this a lot, but this truly is a easy to teach, easy to learn game.
Family weight game, and it fits right with Kids Table Board Gaming's MO of great family weight games.
Yes.
And I know I'm saying I like this, even though this is a preview, but I played the game before. So I was excited to play this new implementation, and I'm just glad that this game can get into other people's hands.
Yes.
That's what I'm really excited about, because playing this game just reminded me of why I got into the modern board game hobby, because of the different unique themes that are out there.
Yeah, this is a cool theme.
Yeah. So, now, don't take our word for it. We're going to leave a link in the description below so you can go check this out when it goes live on Kickstarter. And I like I said, I'm really, really excited that this game is coming out to people, being able.
It's going to be accessible to more people.
Yes, that's what I'm like. That's my dictionary right there.
Really?
You are. But anyway, if you like the contents of this video, please hit the like button. Subscribe.
Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
And I'm Dwayne.
I'm Alicia.
This has been Blackboard Gaming.
We will see you next time.